This video is about changing the engine oil and oil filter on a 2008 Harley Davidson Road Glide. There's a couple of things you want to do before you start. You want to clean the bike, or at least clean the area where you're working so you don't get dirt when you put in the new oil, so dirt doesn't get in your engine. Second thing you want to do is you want to warm up the bike, and that'll help the used oil flow better, and it'll also cause contaminants that are in the oil to get suspended and flow out with the used oil. The main areas are right here is your oil filler cap. This is where you'll add oil, and this is also where you check the oil. This particular engine holds 4 quarts of oil. On the front here, above the voltage regulator, behind the exhaust here, is your oil filter. You can get that from the other side. And then on the bottom here, I gotta turn on the light so you can see this. Right here is your drain plug. This is the first thing you want to do, is remove this drain plug and let the used oil flow out. Okay, I've got the bike warmed up, so the first thing I want to do is remove the oil drain plug and get the used oil out of the engine. Be careful about burning yourself. This engine's really hot right now, so this is probably going to fall into the pan, but I can fish it out with a magnet when I'm done. You can also remove your oil filler cap. That'll help the oil flow out. Loosen it up. There you go. Once that drains, then you can take off your oil filter, and that'll be the next step. After it drains, though, you want to put the oil filler cap back on. Replace the seal. I'll show you that next. I dropped the drain plug into the oil pan because it was so hot, but you can fish it out with a magnet. Got a magnet with an arm here. There it is. Wow, it's hot. Once you get it out, there's a magnet on the end here. If there's any metal that this magnet has caught, it'll show up here, and you can clean that off. If you got a lot of metal on there, you might want to consult with a mechanic. But a few pieces, small pieces, isn't a problem. You want to remove your seal. You can sometimes get away without removing the seal, just reusing it, and the oil won't leak. But I've got an extra, so I'm going to replace it. Put your new seal on, and go ahead and reinstall the drain plug. Okay, once you get the oil drained, you can reinstall your drain plug. One thing I didn't mention is on this drain plug, this oil seal, check it for cracks or breaks. If you see anything like that, make sure you replace it. If it doesn't have any cracks, you can reuse your old one. But like I said, I had an extra one, so I replaced it. Go ahead and reinstall your drain plug, and it needs to be tightened from 14 to 21 foot-pounds. I'm going to tighten this one to 17 foot-pounds. Unfortunately, I cannot get a torque wrench in here while the bike's on the stand, so when I get the bike on the ground and on its jiffy stand, I'll go ahead and tighten it to 17 foot-pounds. But for right now, I'm just going to snug it with a regular ratchet, and then I'll tighten it once I get the bike off the stand to the correct torque. Once you get your oil drained, your engine oil drained, and your engine oil drain plug back on, you can get your oil filter off, replace that. Like I said, it's on the front of the engine above the voltage regulator. I haven't found a clean way of doing this. I just put an oil drain pan underneath and just let the oil drain out. It's going to run down the front of the engine, but you can wipe it up. hot. Once you get your old filter off, take your new filter, get some oil on the end of your finger, and wipe it around this new seal. That way the seal won't bind, and it'll seal better when it goes on to the mount there on the engine for the oil filter. Then I take some oil, new oil, and fill up the old or the new oil filter before I install it. I'm using Harley Davidson Synthetic oil. Now reinstall the new filter. And then once you get it just so it just starts to seat, you want to turn it 1/2 to 3/4 turn more, and that's all. It's kind of awkward because there's not much room here, so I use the wrench to tighten it that extra 1/2 turn. I'm going to go 3/4, and that's it. Once you get your oil drained and your oil drain plug back in and your oil filter, old oil filter off and your new one installed, you can add oil. Go ahead and remove your oil fill cap completely. Set it aside. I got to use a funnel on this bike. I'm using Harley Davidson synthetic oil. This particular bike holds 4 quarts with an oil filter change. I'm not going to videotape adding all 4 quarts, but once you get your oil in there, get the bike off the stand, run it. Then you can check your oil. You take your oil fill cap, you screw it in all the way, then you remove it, and the oil level, if your engine's hot, should be at the top mark here if it's full. If it's full but the engine's cold, it should be in the center here. But it's very important that your oil be somewhere in between the full mark and the add quart mark, so somewhere in this range. Again, you check this on the jiffy stand, and you have to screw this oil filler cap all the way in and then remove it to get an accurate reading. After you get your oil level set, run your engine for a while, then check for leaks around your drain plug and check for leaks around your oil filter. If you don't have any leaks, then you're good to go. That's all there is to it. See, am I forgetting anything? I think that's it. Thanks for watching.